But Taylor Shire joins us from the Leader Post newspaper. It's been voted Canada's Game of the Week, Touchdown Atlantic. Taylor will be all over it. The 3-3 Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the 5-0 Toronto Argonauts Saturday. Taylor, can you give me your matchup, your breakdown, and thoughts going into this big marquee game?
Yeah, this is a tough game for the Riders. I think Toronto was 10-point favorites heading in. Obviously, Toronto has looked so good this season. The Riders trending downwards. They didn't look that good offensively last week against BC. Now they're probably going to face an even tougher test this week, although BC is obviously the best team in the West right now. So an even tougher test for Mason Fine in his second career start. And obviously, if Saskatchewan wants to win, their approach needs to change offensively. Way too safe and cautious last week against BC. Barely threw the ball down the field. So if they want any chance this week, Mason Fine's going to have to sling it.
I appreciate the update because I'm not following all of the coverage. Number one, with the offensive schemes, did they not simplify it because they had a guy making his third career start? Like how much can they tweak things? And how do players coming back from injury help their chances this week at the receiver position and so forth?
Yeah, they're getting Braden Lennius and Jake Winicky back. So Lennius will replace Mitch Picton, who's out, and Winicky will come back in for Kendall Watson, who's going to be bumped off the lineup. Kean Schaefer-Baker still a few weeks away. Labor Day and Darrell Walker still a few weeks away as well. So they'll get two of the injured receivers back this week. But really their offensive approach, Kelly Jeffrey spoke about it in the media this week, the offensive coordinator. He said they were being a little bit cautious, but it was really up to Mason Fine to look downfield and stay on his reads and force the ball. Too often was he just looking off that first read when he wasn't open and then dumping it short yardage. Even on second down when they needed 10 yards, he would throw it 2 and BC wouldn't miss a tackle and they'd be punting. They punted 11 times last week, which is definitely a season high, almost double their season high. So I don't think they can they have to take the training wheels off. They have to take the water wings off and let him sink or swim. Mason Fine can throw the ball. He's proven it before in college that he can throw the ball. He threw for 12,000 yards at North Texas. So if they want any chance of winning, and if they want any chance of developing a young quarterback, they're going to have to let him loose and let him throw the ball. And whether that's on offensive coordinator to set play calls that allow him to throw, or whether that's on Mason to stick with his reads and throw it farther, I think we'll see a bit of a change in the approach on Saturday in Halifax.
Well, I've talked to the personnel people that were responsible for bringing Mason Fine to the CFL. They feel that he has all the tools. So this will be an interesting game to watch because, Taylor, it's the kickoff to the middle third for Saskatchewan. They're 3-3, and I kind of see it as a really pivotal game for their season. If they go out there and get blown out, there's going to be a lot of pessimism in the province and probably within the locker room. Right now, I sense there's still some optimism. That's the sense I get from the Rider Nation. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, there's almost nervousness, in my opinion. They're 3-3. I think, like I said earlier, it had me on a couple weeks ago. They were fortunate to be 3-3. Obviously, they've dropped a couple now, and now I think they face their toughest stretch here the next 6 games. Obviously, Toronto's going to be tough. Then they host Ottawa, and Ottawa has looked amazing with Crum at quarterback. So, I mean, does Ottawa beat Hamilton this week and come in on a 3-game winning streak next week to Saskatchewan? And the Riders, potentially could be 0-3 in their last 3. So that'll be probably the road team favorited in that one. And then the Riders have to turn it around and go to Montreal and face Cody Fajardo on a short week. Then they have BC. Then they have Winnipeg twice in the Labor Day and Boundary Bowl. So this next stretch of 6 games is not favoring the Riders at all. I don't see a way they can even be 500. Maybe if they squeak 2 wins out of the next 6, they'd be happy. I mean, obviously they want it, and if you ask internally, they want to be probably above 500. But it's going to be a tough test for the next 6.
This could be the greatest Toronto team of all time. Their record's saying that it could be. Is it a reflection of me or them that I can't name 5 of them if you put a gun to my head?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. They have this knack for winning. I think it's a full team effort. Obviously Chad Kelly's played well at quarterback, and they have some pretty good receivers. But there's no premier guy that's been just lighting it up for them aside from Kelly. The receivers have done their part. Obviously, the offensive line is doing a decent job keeping them upright. And they have a good defense. And I think it's a by-committee defense. They're all playing well. Obviously, they're getting lots of turnovers and interceptions. And I think that's what it's taking for teams to win now, is a full team effort, right? You don't just have a one-star player who's carrying the load. You have a full team effort, and Toronto's certainly showing that. And I think they've honestly gotten better from what they were last year after they won the Grey Cup.
Chad Kelly, Andrew Harris, Sean Oakman. That's about it.
Come on, you can do better.
Can you name
that. They got
a
a few more.
No.
Well, AJ Ouellette is. AJ
Ouellette,
yeah. He's one of the better. But then you look at the receivers. They got Coxie, Phillips, Brissett, Ungerer. Like those aren't premier receivers. Curly Gittins, and those aren't premier receivers in the CFL. It's sort of a by committee approach, and they're all playing well and supporting their quarterback. So not the star-studded team, but certainly a by committee team this year.
Okay, Taylor Shire, Post Media. That's your day job, but you're a hockey guy first, an ordained hockey official. Just take a swing at our poll question, please, for Key Auto Group. They're around your area out there in Yorkton, Key Auto Group. Which of these 4 bridesmaid teams will win the Stanley Cup next out of the 4 of them? Dallas, Carolina, Edmonton, and we threw Toronto in there just for Toronto. Which one of those will win the Cup next?
Oh, I'm going to say that those are 4 close ones. I think Toronto's at the bottom of that list for me. I just don't think they have what it takes. I'll put Edmonton at the top. I think they looked really good. They almost looked like a playoff, like a cup-winning team last year in the playoffs. I think they got a little bit unfortunate, but I think they're going to take the experience that they had last year and really make a run for it this year. I think we'll even see a hungrier team in the regular season, and then they're going to push it even farther in the playoffs, in my opinion. So I'm not going to say they're going to win next year, but I'd say the window is 2 to 3 years for McDavid and company.
Mm-hmm. Hey, great job as always. Thanks for the time, Taylor. You're doing a great job. I appreciate the coverage, and enjoy the game. Thanks for this today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Taylor Shire of the Leader Post newspaper.